Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing Perfume debut album Game 10-year anniversary. Before we get started, I want to remind you that this is simply my opinion on the album, and if you enjoy this review, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. 10 years ago came out Perfume's first album under the label Tokuma Japan Communications. This album not only made Japan fall in love with the trio, but it also allowed fans around the world to slowly but surely get a taste for a band that still is today one of the most influential electronic bands in Japan. This album is also the first one that I discovered, and back in 2008, it really was the year for me where I started to get more and more into electronic music, and obviously Perfume's music played a major part in that. Game seems so far away when you think about it, especially as the trio has evolved so much, and yet, even 10 years later, this album is still an incredible Perfume album. It was also a simpler time back then, no album mix of singles previously released, but still the same faces. Nakata was already the band's producer, and what I noticed straight away is how this album flows so well. Right from the start with Polyrhythm until the final track Puppy Love, there isn't one song that doesn't work on this album. You have a lot of tracks on this one, and it alternates between cutesy electro tracks like Chocolate Disco, Baby Cruising Love, Ceramics Girl, but you also get hints of the heavier ones like the unforgettable Game. There is also a sort of hybrid of an instrumental in the song Take Me, Take Me, and it's not without reminding us that even nowadays they still produce this type of songs. The most recent example being Fusion on the last single. The song Butterfly was always a big favorite of mine, and even 10 years later, this song stays the same hypnotic and fascinating electronic piece that doesn't seem to age at all. And every time I hear a song that resembles Butterfly from other artists, this song stays as the perfect example to me of an incredible experimental song, and every time I hear something a little bit similar, I immediately think of this song. But honestly, the entire album flows so well. I actually caught myself working many times while listening to this one, and it really allows you to focus a lot on what you're doing without disturbing you too much. And yet when you take a break and listen to it, it's so good. 10 years later, Game is an album that has not aged at all. And it does make me quite nostalgic, as it is after all the early beginnings of Perfume. But when you look at the road they've come so far as a band, this album still stays in my memory as one of the most innovative and fascinating albums when it comes to electronic music in the Japanese music scene. Not only did it establish the trio for the next 10 years to come, but it also made me love how different they were back then, and they really gave a refreshing side of J-pop. Game is an excellent album that deserves all the praise it got back then, and that is why I gave it 5 stars. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to tell me what you think of the album down below, and I'll see you next time.